Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about if Amtrak is safe to ride on.
All right, guys, Rob and Allie here. We get one question actually very often on our videos, and that is asking us if we've ever seen a security incident on one of our train trips.
Yeah, and it's understandable because people want to be safe and they want to know they're going to be in good hands. And the answer is yes, we have seen security incidents on Amtrak. We've seen actually 3 of them in this past year. And that can sound a little bit alarming, but we'll go into a little bit of what happened and how it was handled, and that should put you a little bit at ease. But the thing that happens is there are conductors that walk through the train, and they are always on the lookout for people causing problems and so forth. And just like any other part of life, there are going to be people that cause problems on a train, just like on a plane, on a cruise ship, any mode of travel, there's people that cause problems. The good thing about Amtrak is they handle those problems very quickly, and I have seen, when I say security incident, I've seen 3 people get kicked off the train, basically. One of them was for refusal to comply with orders, and 2 of them were with just kind of being generally agitated. Maybe they had a little bit too much to drink, or they were just kind of bothering other passengers. So, they're told to stop doing what they're doing. If they don't stop, the very next station, they are escorted off the train. So that is the good thing. On a plane, if you have an unruly passenger, they have to wait till they land. I've seen it on a cruise ship too, where they got to wait till the next port. So on a train, within 30 minutes, they'll have the person off of there. So yeah, it's a pretty good situation.
Yeah, it is very comforting. It was very comforting at the time to see how quickly they dealt with it. They really don't put up with a lot of nonsense. They're very, very firm in the way that they do things. Another question we get a lot is about like security procedures or process to get onto the train.
Yeah, exactly. And much to our surprise, there really isn't a lot of security that you have to go through. The most security that you'll need to encounter is getting into the station, because getting into the station, you do have to show that you do have a ticket to get on the train. They don't just let you roam around the station. But once you're on the station and you show the ticket for your actual train that you're getting on, there really isn't much more you have to do. You don't have to go through a metal scanner or anything like that. So.
And you can bring, liquids and all that kind of stuff. There's no, like in the airport at TSA, you can't bring drinks and some types of food and things like that through. You can bring those with you onto the train, so it's not a problem at all to have liquids on you.
Correct. And you don't have to have a passport. You don't have to have, you need to have your ID, but we've actually never had it checked. But we have heard other people that have said they have had their ID checked. So that's kind of a spot check thing. It depends on who's checking the IDs that day, I think. So yeah, the security is, kind of more like a cruise ship. Maybe even a little bit less than a cruise ship. Yeah. So not like getting on an airplane at all.
Right.
And another question we get is, how do you secure your valuables while you're on
Well, it's a little bit different depending on where on the train you are. So there's a couple different things that you can do ahead of time, and that is to check your big bag. If you have a big suitcase with you, check that at the station. There are a few stations where you cannot do that, so you don't have a choice, and you'll know that ahead of time. But definitely recommend checking that big bag so you don't have to keep track of it, because if you're upstairs and your bag is downstairs on the baggage rack, you can't keep an eye on it, and it just, it's too much hassle to be thinking about that bag all the time. So we highly recommend checking that bag. The other thing is to not bring a lot with you onto the train, specifically if you are in coach. Because if you're in coach, we have found that you don't want to just leave your stuff sitting there. So we usually travel, obviously, with our bag of electronics with us. We're not just going to leave it at our seat as we walk away and go enjoy some time in the lounge car or go grab something in the cafe. So bring some stuff that's small enough that you don't mind taking it with you when you move about the train. The other thing is, now we've never done this, but a couple of people have said in the comments that they've actually secured their bags to the railing in the overhead over the seats in coach. They've brought something to tie that, like, little chain lock type thing that secures it to the bar. At least they won't take it from there. Yeah. But for the most part, there's really not a lot of trouble as far as that's concerned. Just don't bring a lot with you, because you could end up with lot to keep track of.
If we're in coach, I have a backpack that I have with me, and it has everything important, and it's on my back 24/7 unless I'm sitting in my seat. If we're walking around or we're in doing whatever in the observation car, I have that on me, and everything valuable is in there. If they want to take my food bag, that's fine.
Free snacks for them.
That's fine. And then the other thing is, if you're in a roomette, you can bring a padlock and lock the outside of the door so that no one could get in.
Yeah, there's a small little latch when you bring the doors together. It's got a little circle in it, and you can generally fit a small padlock around there, or one that has one of those little keys that you can put on there to secure it if you want. We've actually never locked our roomette before and left all of our equipment in our room and just walked away.
We don't. The thing is, when you're on the train, generally to go from the roomette section to the observation car, the dining car, if you're in coach, you can't get to the roomette section. So there's not going to be just random people walking around that area, because they'll know someone's in the wrong area really quickly, because the car attendant knows what 8 people are supposed to be in that car. And if you're not one of those people, they'll know that you're in the wrong spot. So you don't really have people walking through. We've never really even thought about having an issue in the roomette. If you really want to be safety conscious, though, or something really valuable in there, which we don't usually have, the only thing valuable we would have would be our phones, and we take them with us. So if you have something really valuable you're leaving behind, maybe bring the padlock, though, to lock that roomette. Otherwise, probably not a big deal, because the car attendant will watch that for you.
Yeah, and then the last big one I think that we get a lot, well, not the last one, but it is definitely a big question that we get often, is how safe are the stations for layovers? So if you're, getting off the Coast Starlight or off the California Zephyr, let's say in Emeryville, trying to go on to the Coast Starlight, you're going to have a few hours kind of layover. And so, and in a lot of other places too, you'll have layovers. So the question we get a lot is, are the stations safe for layovers?
Yeah, I think they're very safe, because like we had mentioned before, you can't get in the station unless you have a ticket. So, and they actually walk around the stations and are checking people. Interestingly, in some stations, they really don't even let you lay down or sleep on the seats. Now, some of them they do, but like in Seattle, at the King Street station, it's kind of this nice old beautiful station, and people were kind of laying down on their layover on the benches inside, because they hadn't slept well on the train. They were making them sit up, because they didn't want the appearance of a kind of disheveled station look. So they run a pretty tight ship in the stations. The only thing you'll need to figure out is some of the stations don't have good food options. So if that's the case, you'll need to go out into the surrounding area, maybe walk somewhere and get food. You could always just order food delivered to you on Uber Eats or something, but you need to figure out your food plan. If it's a big station like Chicago or LA, there will be food right in the station. You'd never even have to leave it. Some of the smaller ones, like your Atlanta, that'd be a tough station to get food at. You'd probably have to order something, but the big ones you're going to be fine with.
Yeah, so overall, I would say I really never felt unsafe. I felt like at all times someone was in charge of the overall safety on the train. They do have security cameras in all of the, kind of public areas on every single car. So they do have security of some sort overall, on top of the fact that the staff is actually quite firm. One night, actually, we were on the Sunset Limited in coach overnight, and I was asleep. All of a sudden, I woke up because there was, I heard loud voices. I take my my plugs out, and I heard a very spirited conversation between a man and one of the staff people, and he was yelling at him saying, "I can't find my seat." And the guy said, just calm down, tell me where you're seated. Anyways, it turns out that the guy got onto the wrong train. He wasn't even on our train. And the guy said, you've been rude. Then he apologized. The guy apologizes to the Amtrak staff person. And then the staff person was like, you came on here, you woke these people up, you were rude. I'd be more than happy to arrange a room for you at the local jail if that's what you need to help you calm down. And the guy very quickly calmed down and very quickly exited the train. But I was very impressed with how firm, the staff people are on the security of the train.
Yeah, and they are there 24/7 because I've walked through a lot of the cars late at night, early in the morning, and there's always a couple of them on duty. So not really a concern for us. I don't think you'll have much of a problem on Amtrak. Just figure out what you're bringing with you and how you need to secure that. But overall, we would rate it as being a pretty safe way to travel and a pretty fun and enjoyable way to travel as well.